Hi friends, it's Belinda here from BMakingJoy. Welcome to episode 37 of What Brings Me Joy, a mostly knitting podcast from my home here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where I share my knitting progress and keep track of all the projects that I cast on so that you can hold me accountable. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, I'm so glad to have you back. I am recording this on Monday, August the 5th, 2024. And it will probably take me a day or two to get it, to record it and edit it and upload it. And I have a lot to show you. In the past 3 weeks since my last episode, circumstances have kept me pretty much at home and I got a lot of knitting done. But I'm going to start with some life updates first. The temperatures were really high and then the air quality got really bad because of forest fires. I'm sure worldwide you all have heard about the Jasper fires. That's where two huge forest fires merged into one and destroyed about a third of this iconic tourist town of Jasper, which is about a 5-hour drive from here. And several other spots in Alberta and BC have also experienced damage from the fires. There are still a few hundred fires burning in both provinces. And where Calgary is situated, we get the jet streams coming off the mountains. Therefore, we get a lot of the smoke, which with my asthma, I need to stay at home. We did get a surprise visit from both of our daughters, though not at the same time. They just missed each other. The third one lives at home. Dan and our oldest daughter were going backcountry camping, but they were only about 2 kilometers in on the hike when they started feeling sick, probably from the smoke. So they snuck back home and set up the tent in the backyard, intending to camp out there. But then it wasn't too long before they moved inside because the smoke was unbearable. So our oldest daughter spent those 3 days of her vacation with us, and it was nice. And then several hours after she left, our middle daughter showed up unexpectedly. And she spent the weekend with us. And then she's back here again this weekend also. This is the August long weekend, a civic holiday. I don't know what the whole meaning of it is other than the fact that August needed a long weekend. We just call it August long. So she's home again. We're having a nice visit. While she was home the first time, Dan, my husband, participated in the Calgary Half Ironman race, just outside the city here. He wasn't expecting any of us to show up to spectate, but Cassie and I took it upon ourselves to surprise him. We set up our chairs on the side of the road and cheered him on. So I got some knitting done there. The smoke had actually cleared up quite nicely in time for that race, which was good. And through all of this, the youngest daughter has been cleaning and rearranging her room. She installed some curtain rods. She repaired the hole that I put in her wall 15 years ago when I was fighting with her trying to drag her off to school. I accidentally put a hole in the wall by slamming open the closet door and the handle punctured the hole. So she repaired that. She bought a plaster drywall repair kit, fixed that. She installed curtains. I shampooed her carpet like section by section as she moved things around. And yeah, I bring this up because I wanted to show you something that she found. Some of you might remember a year and a half ago, I found the completed pieces of a knit monkey. And as I was assembling him, Elana brought me another one that she had in her room that I could not remember knitting. I couldn't remember knitting these pieces. I couldn't remember knitting him. And then while she was cleaning her room, guess what? She found a third one. And I still do not remember knitting these, but obviously I did. It's all my handiwork for sure. I must have been doing one for each kid. So now it's a joke on Mom, I guess, because as they were packing up stuffies to donate, every monkey came and got put on the bed in my office here. So I just thought I'd share that before we get into the knitty. So yeah, between all of that, I got a lot of knitting done. I was especially motivated by Sock Week, as hosted by Nitty Natty of the Love and Stitches podcast. So my finished objects are socks. I finished the Summer Crocus socks, patterned by Barb Brown. These were the June sock in the Summer Shorties Sock Club, hosted by Ancient Arts Yarns. I used their Socknado yarn in the colorway Dusty Rose. I talk a lot about Socknado, so you may remember that it's an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. Nice plump yarn. I've worn these around the house, hence why there's cat hair on them. And I did wear them in sandals one day out to knit group, but I'm not sure I like the look of socks with sandals. These are pretty short. I'm not sure they will do very well in a pair of sneakers. I haven't tried that yet. But they are pretty. I love them. Don't you agree that lace work looks like crocus flowers? Very nice. And then the July Summer Sock Club pattern was also written by Barb Brown. These are the Traveler Shorties, so I finished both of those. Yeah, it's also a cuff down sock with a rolled cuff, so there's ribbing on the inside of it, so it helps keep it to stay up. Yeah, I think these are going to work very well in sneakers. I haven't worn them yet. Also done in Socknado in the colorway Champagne. And they're called Traveler Socks because of the traveling cable work pattern all over. And they fit me so well. They both fit me very well, but just that these ones are a little shorter. Then my third finished object, third and fourth, because I actually made two. I had previously made one for my middle daughter in April, in inhaler carrier cover. By her request, she wanted a thing to put her asthma inhaler in to attach to her backpack or her keychain or whatever as she goes to dodgeball or wherever. So back in April, I made a previous one and I started writing the pattern. And then her feedback was that I needed to make this tongue part wider to help it stay on. So I did that. That's this one with the tongue a little wider. And yes, it does stay on better. But then I decided I wanted to make the actual sock pattern portion a little snugger. So I decreased the stitch count. I made another one and she has the other one now. It works very well. So then it's knit in like a sock formation and crochet to a binder, carabiner. So I rewrote the pattern. The pattern is off with the tech editor right now. When she's finished proofing it, I'm going to release this pattern on my blog so you can get it for free because it's a medical device. I don't want to charge you for this. So it will be on my blog at BMakingJoy.ca. And by the way, that blog also has a pattern that I released from a few months back. Spa Socks is also available for free on that blog. So that's the inhaler cover. So 4 finished objects. Maybe I'm moving quicker than I thought I was going to. Moving on to WIPs. Sock Week was the okay. Since it was Sock Week, by Nitty Natty. I thought it was time to cast on the yarn that I bought last fall when she collaborated with Woolen Women Fibers and Sam's Tiny Trinkets on this limited edition package. Where's Sam's Trinkets? There it is. So Woolen, sorry, Woolen Women Fibers and Sam's Tiny Trinkets are sisters, twins actually, Andrea and Sam. And Andrea created a colorway for Nitty Natty's adventure. If you don't know, Nitty Natty, Natalie and her husband Kent and their dog Toaster have been living the van life for the past year, visiting yarn stores all over the US and sharing everything on their YouTube channel. So, Woolen Women Fibers also produces project bags. So this project bag is themed after adventures in the mountains, which appeals to me too because we are so close to the Rocky Mountains here in Calgary. And Sam's Tiny Trinkets did stitch markers depicting their van and their dog. And a colorway. The yarn is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and I bought mine in a sock blank version, which is where 2 fingering weight yarns were knit together into a blank and then dyed in this format. So now that as I unravel it and knit my socks 2 at a time, I get identical socks. So I thought this was the perfect time to cast it on. Now it's ready for purse knitting. Although I think I might want to go for a smaller project bag for putting in my purse, because this one is very nice, but it's double lined, it's a little stiff. Very nice bag on its own, but won't fit in my purse. So the set came with minis. Where's the minis? Where are the minis? Oh yes. Coordinating minis for the toes and heels. I think these were 10 gram minis. And then this is 100 grams of, I think. Anyway, I started my toes individually on flexi flips and then put them together on this long circular needle so I can be knitting them both at the same time. You can knit across this row, you knit across this row, you turn your work, you knit across this way, you knit across this way with 2 yarns. It does get a little twisty tangly. I have to untwist it. But it's fun, simple, easy. This sock, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's not as plump as the sock NATO yarn is, so the fabric is coming up looser. So I'm not sure they're going to fit me, but that's okay. I'm just going to knit the straight tubes all the way through, and then when I decide who they're for, I'll go back and do an afterthought heel. So no timeline on when that will be done. It's just casual when I need mindless knitting for the purse. Waiting knitting, I guess you could call it. Okay. What else did I work on? I made some more progress on the Milton Cardigan by Joji Locatelli. Especially while I was watching Dan race, I made a lot of progress. It's work top down. Here's where I was last time I showed you, so I got another 2 inches done. My marker is the sheep Elana made for me, part of her production that she sells on my Etsy shop. I named her Sheila. Sheila, my sheep. Anyway, I'm still loving this fabric so much. I'm still looking forward to getting it done. That's my made for me knitting. But last Monday, for Made For Me Monday, I started another new project. Because my fingers were getting so sore from all the sock knitting on the tiny, tiny needles, I actually have a callus on this finger because I kept poking it with the little 2.5 millimeter needles. So I needed something on bigger needles. So I cast on the Ranunculus that I've been dying to make with my sugarcane yarn. The yarn that I bought from Hands On Knitting Center in California back last fall. So I'm making the Ranunculus pattern by Midori Hirose. The same pattern that I made one of my purple full length sweaters in acrylic in back in the fall. This fall? Last fall. Goodness, I think that was a year ago now. It wasn't fall. It was last spring. Anyway, this is my summer Ranunculus now. Short sleeves. I bound off. I chose to do an I-cord bind off instead of the elastic bind off as written in the pattern. So the sleeves are done. Working down to the body. It's working up so fast. The yarn is by Circular Yarns. It's a 100% viscose from Sugarcane Pop. In the color number 8094, which according to Circular's website is teal. But I'm telling you, it's gray. It's gray. The website says it's biodegradable, recyclable, and energy efficient. I just hope it doesn't biodegrade while I'm still wearing it. It's so soft, so silky soft. It feels like the slivers of silk in the corn husk. It's from sugarcane fibers. It's working up so fast. I've given it a lot of extra attention this week because I hope to have it ready in time for Knit City, Calgary, which is in about a week and a half at the TELUS Convention Center downtown here. I think it will go very well with my purple seafoam skirt if it's long enough, or I have a pink sundress I might like to wear it with. I did not swatch. I went rebel. I just grabbed the needles that I knit my last Ranunculus on and cast on and started knitting. So I have no idea what's going to happen to this fabric after it's had its bath, how it's going to behave, whether it's going to stretch or shrink. But I figure it's going to be okay. The pattern is designed to be very oversized. Midori had designed it with about 12 inches or more of ease. A lot of models are wearing it very boxy and huge and oversized, and that's the style, apparently. And which, if it does stretch, that will be okay. I am knitting the smallest size, which, if I knit to gauge, should give me only 6 inches of ease. So I figure that's fine. If it shrinks, I've still got room for shrinkage as well. So I'm going to insert a picture of me. I tried it on when I got to, where's the marker? This point here. So I've gone another inch since that. So here's a picture of me when I tried it on. At that point, I decided I would go another 3 inches and then give it another try on and see what I think. How long do I want it to go? How much further can I go? Because I'm on my last skein of yarn. Oh, and this project bag I picked up at Michael's from the clearance section. It's just a drawstring bag. A drawstring backpack, actually. I like these. But where's my ball of yarn? So this is all I have left. So I'm trying to see how far will it go. I want to do an I-cord bind off at the bottom. So how much yarn do I need to save for the bind off? I did some Googling, and I only found one blogger that had a comment on yardage I-cords. Nimble Needles is his account. I can't remember what his name is, but he did some experiments and with his gauge and whatever yarn he was using in the experiment, he figured out that the I-cord bind off took almost 13 times as much yarn as knitting a regular round does. If that's true, and if that matches, correlates with my gauge and my yarn, I'm currently using 3 grams per round, so I would need to save 39 grams for the bind off. I'll have to give this another way. I'll need another couple of inches and then do another try on, and we'll see how long it gets, but it will definitely be done before my next episode. Just a second, I'm going to slow down and check my notes and see if I've told you everything I wanted to tell you about it. Yeah. Yeah, I pretty much worked mostly just on this in the past week, sliding off of my intended schedule, but that's okay. I'm very pleased with it. But I did spend time on my Pokemon cloak. The cloak that my daughter and I are designing. So I redid that button band that was flaring too much. We're both very happy with it now. And then we worked out how many stitches are going to be in the hood, how much increasing we want to do, and how wide and how long does she actually want the hood to be, how many stitches and rows is that going to be, and then she grafted out for me the Pokemon ball that she wants the hood to be shaped like. So the bottom will be white, the top will be red, in between will be black and white Pokeball symbol. And I will graph this up on my Excel spreadsheet so I can round out that ball a little more. I think, I'll have to check my notes, but I think our numbers were 180 stitches and 150 rows. So I should be able to get that ball round out much nicer. Yeah, looking forward to casting that on. Then the hood part and finishing up. So if you remember, I started with a provisional cast on, so we need to pick those stitches out, pick up 10 more stitches across each button band, and then do some increasing and then start the graph. Very happy with it. She does still want me to do a red, white, and black trim around the arm handhold as well. Yeah, that is all the projects that I've done some work on. So let's count my WIPs again. You may be wondering, how many do I have now? Let's do the official count. Last episode, I had 11 projects on the needles. Since then, I finished 2 pairs of socks, and I started and finished the inhaler cover, and I started the Ranunculus, and I started another pair of socks. So my WIP count stays at 11. That's good. And no, I did not go back to work on my husband's t-shirt quilt. And also, I now have quite a pile of mending to do as a result of Elana cleaning out her closet. So, 11 knitting projects, 1 t-shirt quilt, and a pile of mending. That's okay. I'm still comfortable. I'm not overwhelmed yet. Although some of you watching might be. Okay, I have no new acquisition to show you this time around, but I definitely will next episode after my daughter's coming with me, Elana, or go to Knit City, Calgary. And yeah, the color of the month for Ancient Arts is not out yet. It comes out after the 7th. So yeah, I have no acquisition to show you. That's all for now. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Happy knitting, happy crocheting, happy beading, embroidering, sewing, whatever it is that you like to do, go make some joy.